Charlotte and Lucy.
And welcome to Décor Scène. So, hi, do you
Hi.
want to present yourself?
I'm Ellie and I'm a third year tech arts student.
So, hi Ellie. So, can you start us off by saying how you got in this industry and what you find most attractive to it?
Yeah, so I was going to be a paramedic because I liked all like the drama of it all and the body parts and everything. I thought was really interesting, but then I had really bad health anxiety, so I thought, how about I make all the gore and the gross stuff and do that instead? So I looked online and I was like, what course can I do that makes gore and like silicone stuff and all that? And I found this course. And I think it was really because like watching the Saw movies when I was younger as well, and the behind the scenes of it all, and just seeing all the breakable props and everything, and just the bones and the stomach you can cut open. It was just really cool. But I think a lot of people are interested in this industry because of like theatre as well, like films, theatre, TV, because of like puppets and prosthetics and just any old props really.
Amazing. Okay. And what would you say that you like the most about tech arts, and what's the most rewarding thing you've ever done?
Well, I think most people like the finishing of like a prop, so adding all the details, like in like all the paint and like the skin colours and the blood and the gross stuff. I like mold making. I think it's really fun. It's really rewarding, and it's something you only find out once you like actually do the course, because you find the actual like things that go into the process rather than the finishing of it all. But, yeah, mold making is very fun.
Very nice. And how big a role do you think props take, in the making of the set?
I think they're really important because without all this stuff, the set would look really bare. Like it would look empty, and like some of the theatre productions here, not any shade, but they look a bit cold and a bit empty. And I think the props really help tell the story as well without actually saying it. So rather than like telling the audience something, like maybe you've got an old cup, maybe rusty like cutlery, it just shows that maybe it's older. It just helps explain the narrative better.
Yeah, make it feel unique.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are some secret techniques that you learn to use?
Well, if it was a secret, I wouldn't tell you. But I think the real secret isn't an actual like secret technique. I think the most important thing to know is that you have to deal with like communicating with people and how important it is. Because I think when you work in the industry, things take a lot more time than people expect. So like these things don't just appear. Like it takes a while, and you need to be able to communicate that effectively. Because like if someone wanted this hand, right, this took like a month to make, and most people think it would take like they just have the hand and it's like, can I have a hand please? But no, you have to be able to explain that you've got to take a life cast, you've got to either you're life casting or you're sculpting, and then you're like moulding, silicone, jesmonite, all those layers. It takes ages, and then colouring it and adding all the details takes so long. So I think that's a secret technique, just learning how to explain timelines and knowing budgets and process properly.
And how long did that guy take?
Godzilla?
Yeah.
Well, this was a collaborative unit, so it probably was a lot quicker than what it would be if it was just one person. But this it was like a whole project. It started before Christmas and it ended like in January, so a long time. Because like the whole process of this was like we needed an actor, we needed to cast his face, we needed to sculpt over his face so he could fit in here. And then it's a lot of sculpting and making the armature and sculpting, taking an axe to the armature because it was too big, and then making a mould and like all the silicone layers. It was just so much, and then painting it and fixing everything with bathroom sealant and like the teeth and the gums. It took so long.
I actually think we saw the mold. I think we
Did
saw
you?
it today.
Yeah, it's hidden outside.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is really big.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of money, a lot of silicone.
Can you say how much money it was?
No. If I was to guess, how much silicone have I? The silicone I bought is like 180 something, but that's for like hands and arms. So if it's for this, it was probably like in the thousands. Crazy. That's like another secret technique, is just budgeting.
Yeah.
Because you need to like, know that this is going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah. How many people were working on this?
For the Godzilla head, I think it was me, Al, Faye, Mariam. I think that was 4 people. I think 4 people were working on it. There might have been more.
And you
But
like
I'll
distinctive
check.
roles?
Hmm?
Did you each have distinctive
Well, I
roles
think
or-
that you should, but with this project, because we were new to it,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we were all just kind of like sculpt Godzilla, sculpt him, and that was a problem actually, having loads of people sculpting one thing, because then you see all this texture. Like one person would be on this side texturing it, and then another person would be on this side, and even though you're kind of doing the same thing, because you're 2 different people, it looks different.
Yeah.
So you need to be really cohesive and like understand your team and be able to like work together. But yeah, it was fun. It was a learning thing, really.
Actually wondering, is there some specific skills or interests that you should have, or maybe shouldn't, but most people do before coming to the tech arts?
Yeah, well, I'm a really unique case, not being like quirky, but I never did art. So, you know, I had like no skills, but I just had a passion. I think a passion is really important. You know, you want to care about props, you want to care about puppets, you just like, just a background knowledge of like, you know, maybe watching behind the scenes, like understanding it. But I think on an actual level of having skills, sculpting, basic level sculpting would be important, and like being able to sketch your ideas, because I really struggle like communicating my ideas because they need drawings and it's really hard. So I think, yeah, be good at sculpt, well, know how to sculpt and know how to draw to a basic level, and then also like being a little bit good at maths, because like you wouldn't expect it, but there's a lot of maths involved. Because like silicone, you don't just go, oh yeah, silicone, let's just put it on. You've got to measure it and like figure out the quantities and the part A, part B, all of that stuff, and like measuring stuff, like making a table, making a box. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, you
So-
would think definitely. 'Cause
Yeah.
It all fits so well, but it's all different.
Yeah.
So patience is another skill.
Yeah.
Because this, when it had an axe taken to it, you just feel like you want to give up, but then you don't, because then it ends up looking really good. And like Izzy's dragon, I've seen that process, and sometimes you just want to give up, but then I see Izzy go, I hate it, it's awful, it's so bad, and then all of a sudden the next day it's like, oh, I'm actually the best person in the world, and like I'm really good at everything. So perseverance is another skill. It's really, really vital, because you're never going to like anything immediately. You're going to hate it. You're going to want to give up. So if you don't have the passion, then and the perseverance, you won't get anywhere.
Fair. Makes sense. What are some of the biggest challenges you had to face?
In general, like okay, so I think the biggest challenges in general are like, well, I guess the time management. You need to like, things take time. Like I said, you need to like, we are doing a lot of timelines at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of like figuring things out and making sure you stick to what you do. That's a big challenge. Because like if you are one day off, like our technician has said to us, if you're not in one day, you've not just missed that day, you've missed the day that you catch up on that day.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a challenge. And I think sometimes working with other creatives is a little bit challenging, because people, again, like I keep saying, don't understand the process of things, and so you need to be able to like explain that properly.
Yeah, so
But
when
when
it come late.
You don't want people to turn up like, that is a challenge. So like, so for this Godzilla head, if the actor turned up late for the face cast, it would be chaos. I would miss out on the rest of the day. And if he says that he's going to be here at 10 to do the face cast, and I'm there at 10, I'm going to do the face cast and cast it in plaster and be ready, but then I can't, and I've got to wait, and algae might dry out while I'm waiting to get the plaster. It's just, you really need people to be on time.
Yeah.
It's so important. Just making sure everyone's just aware of like how important everyone's role is. And I guess another challenging thing is like too many cooks, right? Like I said with Godzilla, too many cooks in the kitchen. I think that's a challenge as well, because everyone's so passionate at uni.
You just want to get on.
You just want to do it. So it's important to like have a set role for things,
Yeah.
so like you know what you're doing. Because with Godzilla, we've had someone doing the teeth and the gums, someone did the eyes. Like eventually we learned that people needed their own roles.
Yeah.
happen when you work with other people.
Like accidents or have you.
Yeah, like you need a team to keep you motivated sometimes as well. Like with this Godzilla, this would have taken ages if we'd just done it with one person. So I think if you're good at communicating and you're good at like working with people and you've got a good team, I think people like to work together.
Yeah, because in the industry, is it mostly collaborative or can you just come on your own and help?
I think that it's so different because in the industry there's so many different jobs that you can have, but for the most part I feel like working in a foundry doing like casting or like managing swords, like doing molding and casting, there is a team, you have a team, but then that team you might be working on your own thing, but you're still with other people. So it's, yeah, and like usually like if you're working on a TV set or like a movie, you've got loads of people. You might be like making your own like prop, or like you might be doing the prosthetics on one person, but you've got everyone around you to help you.
Amazing. And talking about the industry, is there like a specific sector you might want to get into or not yet?
Well, I think definitely because third year I need to get a job. Everyone needs to get a job, and there's so much pressure. Well, it's not pressure, but it's just like, you know, you can have a job when you leave, you can get a job. And industry people are going to come in and you're going to need to get a job. But yeah, I think like this course is so good because you have so many different jobs you can get. Like I can do carpentry, I can weld, I could do taxidermy. Like there's so much. Like I could do prosthetics and like, you know, puppets if you choose to do puppets. I wouldn't say that I could do that, but some people in the course can. So like the world is your oyster with this course. You can do everything. But I would like to go into like managing swords, like doing the mold making, and maybe like work at theme parks doing their props and their like horror events. I think that'd be really fun. But then I think everyone's dream is to work on the TV show or a movie. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of answered that question, but what's your like main intention and main goal in the future?
Yeah.
Like career-wise.
I think just, you know, doing big things, like working on cool things that you see your name on there, or like just working with a team as well. Like we said, would you rather work alone or with other people? I think working with a team to make something, like a big thing, is just so rewarding. Like,
maybe you'll make the next Saw movie.
oh my god,
Yeah.
don't even. I would love to. I really want to. And like this TV show called The Boys, I really wanted to work on their final season, but they've already filmed it, so it's fine.
Disappointing.
I know. But yeah, I think, Saw, that'd be cool. Like, I think a lot of people in tech arts, they start off like in horror, and they're like, I want to make horror, because we have like the intestines and eyes, and that's from second years, so they're still fresh in it. So they're like horror and scary stuff and gore, but then I think when you, like, and obviously everyone would love to do that, but then I think working on different projects, you're like, oh, maybe like whimsy is fun, like maybe I want to work on like the Dark Crystal, maybe I want to do like children's theatre. I think it just opens your mind to more things that you can do.
Interesting. And you kind of mentioned it earlier with the rust, but what are some of the techniques you use to make a space feel super lived in?
Yeah, so I think what's important, it's not really like a tech arts thing, but it's like, you know, these cushions, making them like, don't make them all neat, like punch them a little bit, make them look a bit, you know, old and like sat on, and the books, like if they were brand new, maybe break the spines, you know, do stuff like that. And like with like cups that have got lipstick marks on or like fingerprints on, and like me and Izzy were watching the Scream movies, and our main problem with the costuming is that, well, my main problem with the costuming is that all their clothes are like ironed and really neat, and like no one's clothes looks like that. Like you don't have neat clothes, and then they just look like characters. They don't look like proper people.
Do you think that's like just a bit of a side question, but now that you're in this course and you watch movies, do you notice the props a lot more than you did before?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, you see them, you watch movies to see the props.
Yeah. And
you watch movies to see the cool stuff. Like, I watch Saw not for the plot. I watch it for the, like, you know, the plot doesn't make sense, it's silly. But I watch it to see the traps, to see the prosthetics. And like, you know, you watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space because they've got cool masks and they've got like, you know, I think you do notice it a bit more. Yeah. And you notice that everything is made out of foam. my boyfriend hates it. I tell him when we watch Elaborate, I'm like, that wall's foam, that's foam. Cause like, you know, foam doesn't look like the soft material. So you do notice, you see all the secrets. Like, you know, things are carved out of like polystyrene. Like those aren't real rocks, that's polystyrene. You can figure things out. Like, cause those intestines there, I don't know what they're made out of because I didn't make them, but I think they're probably made out of silicone. I squished them and stuff. You can just figure things out. You're used to materials, so you do notice things a lot more.
Becoming profesh.
Yeah.
And another question, when you get a brief, how do you narrow it down to like reappropriate it and make it your own?
Yeah, so I think it's really fun to do that at uni. I think you do it by accident. So you have your own style, everything looks like you've made it. Like even like if you don't mean to, or like Izzy's puppet, I know it's meant to look like them, but it also looks like they've made it. And like your dragon looks like you made it. And like the hand, it's Izzy's hand, but I made it. And like you can kind of tell, like people have their own interests and their own things that they like, and so it just goes into their work. Like Izzy's got a really like rounded cartoon style in their drawing, so your work looks more rounded and cartoony. So you just do it by accident. I don't think you ever intentionally go into a brief going, I'm gonna make it like my own. And at uni, I think, you know, to do that more, you just indulge in what you like more. But I think it's also really important to be able to not do that. So like in uni, everyone's like, I've got so many ideas and I want to do it my way. But in the industry, people want you to recreate things that already exist. Like they want realistic limbs. I'm not going to put my own twist on that. I'm going to try my hardest not to. Or like at the Lion King, they want the masks recreated from how they were like back in the 90s. So I think it's really important to be able to like not have your own personal style and not fit a brief to what you want.
But then it's a bit difficult because if you want to try and find a job, you need to kind of stand out, right?
Because like, it feels really difficult because you're like, wait a minute, I need my style so I can like show off what I can do, but I also like, I don't want my own style because people won't like want me. But I think what's the most important thing in getting jobs is like you want your own style, but you also want to show that you can do other things, but also you need good references and you need to be a good like employee. You need to show that you're on time, you know, you're responsible, you're nice to get on with. Like our lecturer says, no one likes a goth in a cupboard. Even if we all start uni being goths in a cupboard, you want to be able to talk to people and be sociable and just like, because, you know, if you're difficult, people are not going to want to hire you. So like in industry night, it's really important here that when we meet people, we're like really charismatic and we're like, hi, you know, see my work, I'm interested in talking to you. Because I think what's important is like passion, like I said before, because I worked at Thorpe Park and I was doing acting, but I really wanted to do the props, and so I would bother them all the time. I was like, hi props department, please give me a job, please, 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 please. And one of the guys was like, that's what's good about you is that you are enthusiastic and that they can like shape you to what they want. So I think, you know, passion and just your skill set is really important, because no one's going to hire someone that's like, yeah, I kind of like it, I can kind of do it.
Amazing.
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're done, right?
Yeah, thank you.
It's been great, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. It's been fun.
Thank you.